wikis. Actually, the idea of this conference, of hosting this conference, came about when we heard the announcement that Google had acquired JotSpot. JotSpot, of course, is a very powerful wiki client, and they offer their services to companies such as Intel, Symantec, eBay. And we were wondering, well, what is Google going to do with JotSpot? At that point, they already had their suite of Google apps, the Google Docs, and other things. And we were using them. Actually, we have been very happy users of the collaborative tools, such as Docs and spreadsheets. This is a very simple customer survey that some of our people have been working at. And the interesting thing with this is that it's web-based, and anybody can access it from a browser. You don't have to have anything installed. People can work on it and edit it. So we actually had a number of people doing the surveys and filling in the same document without the need to email the document back and forth. So gone is the need for document versioning. However, we do have the revisions, which show us, let us go back in time to see who made changes and roll back to those changes. And this is essentially a wiki in the form of a spreadsheet, because this is what a wiki does. A wiki is just a web page that allows anyone to edit it, often at the same time, but usually offers very good versioning control, allowing people to go back, see who made the changes, and roll back to those changes. So what's in it for the enterprise? Wikis have been around for quite a long time. Probably the best known wiki is Wikipedia, which has most likely become the first source of information for many of us. Well, Business Week's latest CEO Guide to Technology is focused entirely on the wiki. And we decided to take a more in-depth look at some of the companies that are using wikis and how they're using them to see what are the business benefits of wikis. Well, the first example we will be looking at is an investment bank, Dresdner Kleinfeld. They have been using wikis. Actually, their growth of the usage of wikis was astounding. In March of 2006, they had about 20,000 hits on their wiki. In October 2006, they had 5 times as many hits, 100,000 hits on their wikis. And they found that the wiki is used very heavily. It's become their primary tool for intra-team communications and for informing the business of what they're doing. They're integrating wikis with feeds of information, such as RSS feeds, in order to allow them to use information from many, many sources, read through it in just a matter of seconds versus hours. And they have found that their usage of wikis cut their email usage by 75%, which is, I would say, a pretty good thing whenever you look at your inbox with several hundred messages, especially if you've been on vacation. Another heavy user of wikis is Nokia. Nokia started in 2004 with just 2 groups in their research and development team. Those 2 groups were very excited with what they were able to do and innovate using wikis. And they started asking other teams, when they had to collaborate with other teams, please use the wiki. We can collaborate much better using the wiki. We haven't been able to look at Nokia's internal wikis. However, here's a public wiki that Nokia has created for one of their open source projects, the mobile web server. It is created to allow customers and users and developers to actually update the information here as they use it. And actually, this usage of wikis for collaborating with your customer has been done by other companies as well, and has been found to be a very, very successful type of collaboration. For example, Motorola has this wiki for one of their smartphones. It is just a manual that users can update themselves. the question is, how do you implement a wiki? Because a wiki is, after all, just a blank web page. You can tell people, do anything you want with it, but they most probably will not. It is like our teacher, our art teacher in school telling us, oh, you can draw anything you want. Well, that's the most difficult thing to do. When you have an empty page in front of you, you will probably not feel like doing anything with it. One solution to this problem is this web page of wiki patterns. There are very general patterns that can be used in almost any type of setting. And there are people patterns, there are technology patterns that you can use. They offer a context, a problem, and a solution. I will just show one very quick example. For example, you might want to use a scaffold for your wiki and just have a very simple structure, for example, for this new meeting where you have just the date and the agenda, and people can use the wiki for that. Okay. Social software is also a very interesting topic. And I'm going to be focusing on types of social software that allow us to search for information and find it and keep it found, and to look for other people who have found the same information to be interesting. There are actually two main ways of looking at this problem, because now the problem we have is not that we cannot find the information. If anything, all of us are probably suffering from information overload. The problem is what information we will pay attention to. And our tools that we have been using up to now have been designed to cry out for our attention, like the toddlers in our home. Mommy, mommy, pay attention to me. While what we need now, when information is so prevalent, are tools to help us manage our attention. And social software is one of these tools. Is this familiar? The Yahoo directory? When was the last time you used it? Probably not quite a long time ago. Yahoo was built on the idea of using a very complex hierarchy of categories and subcategories in order to organize the world. And they employed taxonomists to create this structure. However, in 2005, two very interesting things happened. Yahoo acquired two companies. They acquired Delicious and they acquired Flickr. Both of them are based on tags. Tags meaning that people can select information that they have found relevant to themselves, tag it with a word or a couple of words that they have found to be helpful in helping them find that information again. And then look for other people who have tagged similar content with those same tags, and thus discover information that has been useful to other people. Very interesting, just to look at the most popular tags. It seems that people are in blogs, people in today, and some other Polaroid Week and other things that are very popular at the time being. So what's in it for the enterprise? Well, I've been very excited to find out that the first enterprise social bookmarking system similar to Delicious has been under development and used internally by a very large company for the past few years, and it seems that they will be making it a public commercial offering within the next few months. That will be interesting to watch. One of the most interesting things that people are looking at these days and that have captured the imagination of everyone from the media to businesses are virtual worlds, especially Second Life. Second Life being a game in which users create their own content and users interact from different locations on the globe with that content. And if you have heard of Second Life recently, it has most probably been in the context of Neogen being the first Romanian company to have a presence in Second Life. Neogen has been very responsive and have helped us create a very small video as a sample for you. So this is our Sapolek character, avatar, in Club California in Los Angeles. He teleports to Neogen's offices, the Romanian flag in proud display, and starts chatting with Kalin Khan, which is the avatar of Kalin Fusum. And of course, some of this results in some business eventually. So obviously, there are some very interesting opportunities in Second Life for businesses to start having a presence there. However, other companies are looking at even more interesting ways to use virtual worlds in the context of the workplace. Sun Microsystems has this project of a virtual workplace where you can enter. It's populated with the worksheets and the applications that everybody is actually running. So you can walk around. You have private workspaces and you have team workspaces. You can actually go and see what other people are working on, maybe what they're struggling with, and actually help them work on a document together, work on some code together, and help them move past that point. Just enter into a room, take a look around the walls, and see what the entire team is working on. This is very exciting. However, we only have screencasts for this, just this handful of screencasts. Okay, so moving beyond the technology tour, I want to propose to you just 3 very simple key factors for technology adoption. And the first one is the technology has to be simple, because key for collaboration, of course, is that people will use it. And if it's not simple, they will not use it. Most people are not geeks. They will not spend a lot of time trying to play with the technology, so they need technology that is very simple with just a very small amount of training. People should be able to start using it. And further, the directions should also be very simple. Like Nokia, for example, where the motto was, don't send emails, use the wiki. And this was possible because technology was every bit as simple as emails once you had some initial training. A second key factor, the processes should be also very simple. It's very tempting to create complex processes around collaborative technologies. However, I want to remind you, is this familiar? Have you used Nupedia recently? This was a project of the same people who later made Wikipedia. It was designed to be the first free encyclopedia. However, if you wanted to submit an article to Nupedia, you had to go through this 7-step editorial process. And at the best of times, Nupedia had 24 articles. Now, if you go there and try to look at the articles, this is what you see. Even those 24 articles are gone. However, I'm sure all of us are highly familiar with Wikipedia. Not 24 articles, but several million articles available in all kinds of languages. And recent research shows that it is even competing with the Encyclopedia Britannica as far as the correctness of its information goes, which is quite a bold claim for an encyclopedia that has no formal editing process at all. Anyone can go in, post an article, anyone can go in and edit. So I propose that for whatever systems you want to implement, you keep things as simple as they are for Wikipedia. Otherwise, maybe you'll have 24 articles as well. And finally, it's all about people. If people want to use the technology, they will. If they find it useful, they will. If they do not, they will not. And if you try to push people to use technology, this is what will probably happen. You build them a very nice driveway, but nobody will use it. They will cut their own shortcuts because they want to find their own way. And I am proposing that the fault here is not with the people who are taking the shortcut. The fault here with the people who build the driveway, because they didn't first look to see how what were the natural pathways that people were using. For example, Geek Squad is one company that found this the hard way. Geek Squad has a very interesting concept for computer service. In 3 years, they grew from 60 employees to 12,000 employees. And they built a very elaborate internal wiki to help them cope with this. They were very dismayed to find that their people were not using it, until they realized that their employees were actually collaborating and sharing knowledge very effectively. Every evening, they would get on the internet and start playing Battlefield 2 online with their colleagues from all the other locations around the country. And during this time, they would be wearing headphones and chatting about work and about work issues and problems and how to best help their customers. So they weren't using the wikis because they had already found their own shortcut and were very effectively using it. You might be thinking, well, my people are not tech savvy. My people, the people who have the best knowledge are probably the ones who are the least disposed to use these new technologies. Tomorrow's CEOs and specialists will grow up with these technologies. And if you do not use them, your competitors, as Steve said earlier, your competitors certainly will. So it's just a matter of, do you want to do things or have them done to you? I would like to transition into integrated solutions. These are solutions that take things that people already are very familiar with, such as calendaring, email, discussions, documents, and put them into already made collaborative environment that is perfect for teams on demand. We have been looking at some of the open source offerings available, such as eGroupware for companies that have very high technical skills, but might be low on the budget. They integrate many things, including wikis. What's the good about these collaborative suites? Most of them have a web-based interface, meaning the end user doesn't have to install anything, just a login, and that's it. The tools are familiar, but they add a dashboard, which is perfect for projects. They're very easily deployable, and you basically have collaboration on demand. And we have invited our friends from Oracle, Tudor Popa from Oracle, to give us a short demo of how you would use such a collaborative suite.